This is the Raven's Librarian. Welcome to checking out my library where I play the various games that I have stored on my computer in an attempt to find something to play both for myself and for the channel. Today, Nelson Tedder's Puzzle Agent. Full disclosure, I have played the beginning part of the game, which I'm going through. I had attempted to record that one as I touched it. All the different absurd ranks. I tried recording that playthrough at the start, just regular recording before, but due to various issues, basically a combination of my computer and I don't know how to run games very well yet. I couldn't use that footage, so I'll be going through it again for the sake of the video. You can kind of get a clue as to the type of game this is. And he's out. That cross. Wait, was that a crossword or Sudoku? I think it's a crossword. Yep, crossword. That crossword was so boring, made him go to sleep. And this guy likes puzzles. Hello. Well, that's terrifying. Nelson Tedder's crossword puzzle has been ripped to bits, but is there something written on it? Reconstruct it to find out. This is a fairly straightforward one. I didn't have any trouble with this one when I did it. This one especially because this one kind of does the hard work for you. If you get, if you get them the right piece, it'll automatically connect. The next puzzles in the game are not as easy to solve. Main part being because it doesn't just tell you if you got it right or not. You have to actually either A, figure it out, or B, guess and just hope. Well, wait and see. But with this one, it's a lot more upfront with what you're supposed to do. So get in the corner. And done. This other stuff will come into play later. And there goes all the taxpayer dollars. That number's gonna get a lot more ridiculous the further in we go. So this runs tiers based on how well you do. As far as I've noticed from my first experience, the amount of times you mess up affects the score more so than the number of hints. The hints, I think, don't know if it does affect it, so I haven't, because in my experience, I either figured it out pretty easily, or I messed up so badly.
Puzzle research. This is Agent Tethers. I think you have the wrong number.
No, I know it's you.
Oh, I see. An assignment.
Yes.
In the field?
Yes.
No, sir. It's been, yes, quite some time.
I know.
Uh-huh. Erasers? The foundation of democracy? Oh, absolutely, sir. I agree, sir.
Yeah, you
Oh,
bet.
yes, the White House needs its erasers, sir.
Of course it does.
I'll
You know
be
how
on the
many
next
things they
plane
go
to...
through on that document?
Wait, where?
So, was that a hallucination? And if not, why the heck would a dude in an astronaut suit warn us that we were coming here? Also notice the sign has a moon on it, so... This look, that intro, for some reason, it reminded me of Fargo. Show and this guy's so far my favorite character in the beginning of the game. I actually like the dynamic that the characters have in the game, but this guy we're about to meet, so far he's my favorite.
Just arrived in Scoggins, Minnesota. Population, 754. Temperature, it's cold, and not much to look at. According to the agency, there's some kind of thing going on at the local eraser factory. The whole plant is shut down. There's a weird man staring at me. Hopefully this won't be a big waste of time. Agent Tethers out. I have no idea where my hotel is. I might have to ask for directions.
Talk to the creepy man. Even the game doesn't like him. This is the suit.
Excuse me, I'm Nelson Tethers with the FBI's Department of Puzzle Research. Hello?
Yep.
Okay, and you are?
Bjorn.
Bjorn?
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Bjorn. Boy, those snowmobiles sure are a bumpy ride, eh?
Yep.
Great conversationist.
Can you give me directions to the nearest hotel? I'm having a little trouble finding my way around.
You'd never get there. Roads are too slick.
Sir, I'm an agent of the FBI's Puzzle Research Division. It can't be harder than the puzzles I see every day.
Not so.
It's really just a matter of trajection.
Okay, on the way to the hotel, you're going to pass 2 traffic lights.
Yeah, that confidence really blew up in his face with my competence. Nelson's snowmobile is sliding along the roads. Arrange the logs to help Nelson bump his way to the hotel. Make sure to pass the traffic light Bjorn mentioned along the way. That's a lot of rules, drag logs, but basically it's what this visual here shows. Given the fact that they built the instructions for it, I assume it might play out later. But so far, the puzzles, they follow similar ideas, but they don't repeat too much. Last time I had a bit of trouble with this, so I hope that I remembered correctly. Basically, this is the one that messes me up. Last time I think I put one of these by mistake because I thought it was. So what ended up happening was he would do this, get to here. He needs to get to here with all the question marks. Gets here and then he veers off this way. So, like I said, I might still mess this up. It all really depends on. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what the log's gonna do now. Hopefully I won't mess up more than once. If I mess up that more than once. Nope, alright, got it right this time. For some reason, I didn't register which log direction was going before in the previous attempts. So I kept having the character veer off to the other side. That one contrasts to the other ones. With the other ones, I genuinely, well, it gets progressively more frustrated because I legit have trouble figuring out what the puzzle's solution actually is. So I wind up getting it out of guesses rather than actually figuring them out.
I must have gotten lost. I thought your directions were taking me to the hotel.
They did.
I'm standing in front of the hotel, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
He gets a lot of ruder. That's it.
I'm here to investigate an incident at the Scoggins Eraser Factory.
Now
Do you
he's
know
interested.
anything about it?
Nope.
Fair enough.
The hotel's going to close soon. Better check in if you're sticking around.
Seen any suspicious people hanging around the
Fair.
hotel lately?
Fair
Yep.
one again.
Really? Can you describe them?
Skinny asks lots of questions. Wears a stupid hat.
Rude.
Thanks for the tip.
Yep.
Given his general attitude, it's clear he's just being dismissive. It's easy to assume he's being dismissive, but something about the way he reacted to the first question, like, you got anything about the factory? And he just, not only does he say no, which is the normal thing he would do, yes and no, he doesn't like conversation, but then he also just tries to get us to walk away. Like, he does the whole go to the hotel, check up thing, which is not what he usually does. I just know. Like I said, maybe I'm reading too much.
Discovered a fence. Boards all chewed up something terrible. Could be the work of strays trying to get to the dumpsters back there.
Very
I
sharp
don't
strays.
know why I'm reporting this.
Not an animal expert, so no clue. But those bite marks look awfully. What looks to be bite marks are also look oddly sharp. Also seem to have more teeth than most animals. But again, not an expert. Not trying to be smart about it. The moment I saw those I knew that was going to be a puzzle. Oh, right, that showed this first. So this is the game menu. So, taxpayer cost. I'm wondering if this is this is obviously a joke thing, but I'll wonder if there's also actually relevance to the game, or if it's just keeping score for funds. And then of course we've got all of this, which I assume is keeping track of the game puzzles. Because if so, then obviously you have a very defined number of puzzles to go through. I also need to check based on...
Hello.
Well, hello there, mister. Welcome to Valda's Inn. I'm Martha Garrett, but everyone calls me Ma. How can I help you?
I'm Nelson
Not
Tethers.
the name
I
of
have a
the-
reservation.
The
Oh, yeah,
hotel.
you're here about the eraser factory, eh? We're awfully excited to have a real FBI man in our town. It's just like TV, yeah?
Not everyone
Ooh,
seems to be
I'm
excited.
gonna make some hot dish for you later.
A hot dish?
Oh, you'll love it. I've never met a man who didn't love himself some hot dish.
So, what room am I in?
Yeah, okay, I've got your room right here. Oh dear, this is so embarrassing. The night clerk wrote down your room number in code.
Mind if I have a look? I bet I can figure out what room I'm in.
The security-minded night clerk noted Nelson's room number in cryptic form. Help Martha see what's written so you can get your keys. This one's pretty easy. At least for me it was. Basically what ended up happening is I immediately just saw that this is just spelling 9. If there's some number you can actually read out of this, let me know, because all I see is as soon as I picked it up, that's all I see. The 9. I guess if you tilt the E, can also be seen as just 2 11s, but after that I couldn't pick out any other numbers from the drawing, so I just by this point I had already messed up another puzzle. I'll show which one, but I was being more skeptical about my ability to actually figure these things out.
There you go, Mrs. Garrett.
Oh, yeah, now I see. Okay, then. Here's your room key, FBI man.
Yeah, my name is, whatever.
Thanks. Actually, while I have you here, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? Real quick, I promise.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He says that and then proceeds to have a longer list than any other conversation.
How do I get to the factory from here?
The FBI doesn't know where the factory is?
I don't have
Oh,
a map,
dear,
ma'am.
our moose is cooked.
Rest assured, ma'am, the FBI just likes to confirm intelligence with civilian knowledge of... We like to double-check things.
Oh, of course. Well, it's easy. I have a tourist map of our little town of Scoggins right here.
That'll be how we...
You know, our
traverse.
Scoggins Erasers is the plant that supplies the White House with all of its erasers.
Yep, that's
The
why I'm here.
president could be fixing a mistake with a Scoggins eraser right now.
Yes, ma'am. That's
Apparently,
why I'm here.
The president
That
doesn't use
and the
pens.
fact that every time the Bureau made an inquiry into the situation, all we ever got back were bizarre puzzles.
Oh yeah, well, that'll happen.
Because it's a town or because...
Do you know anything about the problem at the factory?
Yeah, so tragic about the accident, huh?
Accident?
Oh yeah, the foreman, Isaac Davner, they say he was killed in there.
Is that so?
Well, not to be gossipy, but I heard the accident was caused by raccoons.
Raccoons?
Yeah, little creatures that live in the woods around the factory.
I know what raccoons are, ma'am.
Maybe you should go talk to Sheriff Bogg about it, though. You should be able to catch him out by the factory right now.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
I hadn't recalled this conversation because of the puzzles in the other recording, but what she said just now might have actually either it might be a lie or it might just be as she said, a rumor, gossiping thing. So it might be miscommunicated. Like what actually happened and what people think happened doesn't match because people aren't,
The
officially.
guy in the lobby, is he okay?
Oh, that's Bo Murphy. He's always been a bit of an odd one. Yeah, he sits there all day trying to do his puzzles. He mostly keeps to himself, and I bring him some food from time to time. Sometimes I swear he'd starve to death if I didn't bring him something to eat.
Thanks. Well, goodbye.
Enjoy your stay.
Oh, that reminds me.
Here
Do
it
you
comes.
have any gum for sale? Or know where I can buy some?
Dear, we've been out of gum for quite some time.
What?
Haven't seen a stick in months anywhere in town. We tend to get shipments of things like that in the spring.
So, no gum?
Nope.
Gum helps me concentrate.
So get that conversation so you can kind of guess what's about to happen. Read gum. Nelson thinks when better when he's chewing gum, any kind of gum, tobacco. Find discarded gum and use it to get a hint during a sticky puzzle. So this is basically the hint mechanic for the game. So what happens is, for every puzzle, you get 3 hits, which I assume each one gets progressively more obvious. Or obviously, the more hits you have, the easier it'll be to figure out what's going on.
Well, these are interesting.
Yeah, those are Scoggins gnomes. All the tourists love them. But I think one has gone missing. I swear, I had 6 of them. I took a picture when I set it up, but I guess I lost it. I still have the film negative, though.
A ceramic gnome has disappeared from the hotel display, but which gnome? Identify the gnome in Martha's photo negative that doesn't appear on display. So this one I messed up a few times, but the first time, completely my own self-doubt getting in my way, because basically I had guessed what the secret was, but didn't go through with it. I ended up, caving and just assuming I was wrong and did the rest. Basically, I have no idea how negatives work in real life, or in the fictional sense. I figured, okay, so the fact that these are all colored this way, flipped, what obviously happens is the colors are opposites. And that does seem to be the case, but even with that knowledge, I'm still not totally sure which one of these is supposed to be, based on actually figuring it out. I ended up having to do a process of elimination, so I think it's this one, based on what happened last time. So basically what happens here is 2 green, 3 red hats, but because of the whole negative thing where they're all flipped. So in this photo, there's 1 green missing, which means it's one of the ones reds on the photo. But here it's, okay, so we got this one. Seems to be the one that's here, which is why it's confusing. Sorry, this one. See, I would assume this is the one that's... But you see the other 2, which are red, they also don't match. So it's not that. So that my confusion was, I don't actually know how the photo captures these guys here, which ones moved. Are they moving the hands? Is there something in the belt? Like I'm supposed to see something in how their legs are positioned? If I assumed, it's one or the other, I assume, okay, this one, 2 here. So he's just one of these 2. This one is these 2. This one, this guy, even though it can't be because he doesn't have to. Like, it's not supposed to be that one. This one, it's this guy. So if I did process by that point, it's here, here. This one's this way. This one is this one, and this one is this one. The one that'd be missing is one of these 2. But let's see if I remember. Let's see if it goes. Nope. Yep. Still got it right by memory. Still don't know how that puzzle gets solved.
Well, one of your gnomes has most definitely run off.
Oh my, wouldn't that be something?
So I have to assume that that's gonna pay off later. That's now to think about it. So, there it is. So the fact that it's lower down, that might be because those are the optional mysteries. So optional puzzles. You don't have to solve them, or you don't have to solve that one until later, or it's alphabetical. It's on.
Excuse me, you look perplexed.
Puzzles. So many puzzles.
Puzzles?
Yeah, it's in the
I might
game.
be able to help you with that.
It's in the game, man. It's called Puzzle. I don't know what you were expecting. Bo has swallowed a rubber band again. His X-ray shows only tapeworms, or does it? Rotate segments of the pesky parasites to reveal the hidden object. So here's actually quite funny because so what you have to do, at least at first, what I did was just try to form a pattern. So I just assumed, okay, these need to lead somewhere. So they all need to be connected. So that was all I was doing, was just flipping them around, trying to be like, okay, this one connects here, maybe, or is it like this? Then trying to see if there was any connections. Does this one connect with this one? Or do they connect like this? Or like this? Now, so that was, I was doing that, and you do have to do that a bit, but I was falling into a mistake. I was assuming that the goal was simply to get them all connected, but that's not what you actually have to do. What you have to do is notice that one of these is actually just slightly drawn differently than the others. And that's the rubber band that's lying here. There it is. One of the hints that I got. So this is the hint mechanic. I'm not going to use it, but this is what you keep collecting. So you can use it, at least as far as I was able to do. You can use it 3 times per hint. I never got to that point. Usually, I think 2 was the most I used. But based on the menu, once you submit, it seems to be 3 max. But the idea is that you can keep. You have to get gum. If you don't have the gum, you can't use it. So obviously, it's a way to like encourage you to not do that. Like at worst, you just get bad scores, which is, to my knowledge, the only consequence. But here's the connection. Here's the. I might be missing something as far as the outer layer goes, but I don't think that affects. What matters is you get this part. You can see the way it's drawn, so just slightly different than the worms. Let's see if I got it right this time again. It's a bit fun getting them on the first try. If it wasn't for the fact that I know I'm using past knowledge. I don't know if any of you, if you ever played Portal, it's like going through the Portal levels, but you've memorized how the puzzle gets solved. So it's no longer as much of a challenge because you already know what you're supposed to do.
Solved! Now maybe you can relax a little.
Nope.
The whispers. It's an acrostical enigma. Maybe it's a Baltimore trans-deletion. The whispers?
Or not.
Considering how many tapeworms he has, I don't expect him to become about anything.
Someone left a screwdriver in the alley beside the hotel. Looks clean. Probably of no consequence.
Well, we should keep an eye out for, loose screws.
Winner undeclared in local contest.
The Annabelle Grill Ladies Arm Wrestling Tournament is over, and the judge missed it. Read the 4 statements and help him determine the winner. So here I messed up by not figuring out how the process would have been done. So the clue is based on this part, Grizzly Grip. So what happens is, this is a 4-person competition that went by elimination. 2 people fought, and 2 people fought. So the main one clue is 2 people actually fought Grizzly Grip. They even tell you which one lost and which one didn't. So you can assume at that point that this might be it. This is the only one that might throw you off, which, well, I say might have. It threw me off, which is why I think it's done that way. Not that good at this. The piece is her acknowledging that somebody beat her fair and square, so it's only a question of figuring out if she lost early or not. When you follow the pattern, these 2 acknowledge that they lost. This one doesn't, but you can see from her hand that this is the only clue that I should have figured out, but I didn't. I mistook what it meant. I think it's actually her shaking her hand from having just worn herself out in the arm wrestling part. So basically, my interpretation is these 2, I think this is the Grizzly Grip. These 2 fought on the first round. No, sorry, correction. That was 2 of these people fought. 2. Actually, now I need to try to figure this out. Okay, so she's the one that won, and she won the second round. She would have won it against the same person that did this move. So she beat her the first round, and then maybe she's Grizzly Flo. She's Flo. So, and this might be Pearl. So, which makes this might be Pat, if I'm right about this. Well, I think first round was these 2 fought, and these 2, fought. Pat wins, moves on. She loses to the Grizzly Grip on the first round, so then last round is these two, and she actually pulls out the Grizzly Grip, which is why she's doing this, because she just lost the match. My mess up, I got these two confused. Ding! If you get some wrong answers, I don't know how much the hint usage affects, but I know that if you get wrong answers, it's up to, I think the most I got wrong was like 3, which is pretty bad. This will go down. There might be 5 different levels of score. I've seen 4. I've seen the one you get if you're abysmal at it, the one you get for being right at the middle, and there is one in between this, the best, and again middle. So it's like, so I assume there's also one somewhere in the middle, in the between middle and bottom.
That was a tricky one.
I found it incredibly funny that that was the one puzzle that he suggested was tricky, because by this point I had already been baffled by the 2 optional puzzles. The story one was easy, so my only assumption was that that one was also considered optional. I never actually checked, so are all the puzzles in this? So yeah, so far it seems that that's the one thing they have in common. They're all in the bottom area. Also gives a good hint as to how the length of the game based on how much trouble you have with the puzzles.
The residents of Skagen seem nice enough. Aside
If
from
creepy.
one wild goose chase, everyone's been cooperative.
Except this jerk.
Plus, it looks like I'm primed for all the hot dish I can eat. It remains to be seen if that's a good thing.
Don't know.
I got a map from the hotel owner, so I'm heading over to the eraser factory. Agent Tethers out. Am I supposed to be saying that?
It's weird how he inconsistently comments on, open narration. Because you'd think the use of that recorder would be the excuse for him to say stuff out loud. He's making a report. But no, sometimes he just starts blurting out. So you have to assume that's just, like other characters, that's just something they do. So yeah, this is the map. Gotta assume this will be areas. No context yet for me as far as trying to guess what might be relevant and what might not be. There's the titular from the title screen. Blue. Huh, no gum this time. Alright, so the gum might be random. There used to be in the first playthrough I did, there was a piece of gum here.
Hi, Sheriff Bog. Yeah, I'm Nelson Tethers of the FBI's Department of Puzzle...
Agent Tethers, good to meet you. We got a real mess here. Yes, we do.
We do?
Oh, yes. It's gonna be a while before we can get this factory running again.
But my job is to get this factory back to making erasers.
Agent Tethers, you're in a right pickle.
Well, I should probably ask you some questions about the incident then.
That's what I'd do if I was a big, important FBI boy.
Okay, there's no need for that, sir. We just met.
What was this incident?
Well, we don't need to be dramatic.
What happened?
There was an explosion.
What?
What?
Oh, yeah. A big explosion. And the foreman just never came home.
What happened to the foreman? My notes don't have a lot of details.
Well, we're still trying to figure that out. One day after work, Mr. Dabner just never came home. The accident was pretty bad.
Oh, is there a body?
Nope. He's just gone. Isaac Davner's his name, if you don't have that in your notes.
We don't even know if he died in that explosion?
Won't be able to find that out till we find a way into the factory.
What did your investigation turn up?
Not much. I can't figure out how to get past this lock.
Well, that's because it's missing a piece. I can see that just by looking at it.
So it is. I guess that's why you make the big bucks, right?
That's right, sir.
I can't tell if he's being blunt or condescending.
When did the accident take place?
Well, I've been trying to figure that out myself. Here's what I know.
This was the most infuriating puzzle I had to use 2 hints to get through this puzzle, and I still don't know how you're meant to actually figure it out. The Rest Easy Guard service was employed to keep watch over the factory from midnight to midnight. Yesterday, from their statements, can you determine the time of the big noise? So there's a few things. I might end up basing this more on the, already knowing the answer, but so the key idea first is, okay, 4 men guarding from what should be 24 hours. So you'd think each one would be split to 6 hours, and then you'd have to figure out the order. But if you read the dialogue, apparently only one of them, this guy Bernie here, actually did 8 hours. Everyone else did some other amount. This one actually tells you how much, these 2 don't. You can kind of, then you have to use other knowledge to infer based on what they do say. But then you can also figure out other stuff like, okay, so he's definitely the one who saw the explosion. A, he's describing it. B, he's the only one that looks actually freaked out. So presumably it's from his memory, just recalling what just happened. It's 1 hour before the last shift started. So one key clue is it's the lead up to the last shift, which is not him, and he isn't the last shift, so he's the third shift in the rotation, assuming each one 1 to 4, so he's the third shift, sorry. And then you've got this guy, who's got the lowest, then you've got this guy, so the possible clue is he says he worked from 6 till he was relieved. So the only question then is, and this is one of the hints that the game it doesn't actually tell you, it just just implies that there's an obvious answer, which is evidently AM. The key point is you need to figure out if he's telling that he's worked from 6 a.m. or if he worked till 6 p.m. So I have to assume it's following the order. Again, Bernie is the third shift. So no matter what, there's a shift after him, and regardless, he has to do his entire shift, so you have to count that time. And the reason that should remove PM for Iggy, as in Iggy can't have started working at 6 p.m., is because even if we assume that he did the bare minimum, 1 hour, that's even possible, and it isn't because I get popped, but even if we made that assumption, the guy following him, Bernie, needs to cover 8 hours, and that's not even going into an account of whoever goes after him. So it's definitely not him. So Iggy has to be at AM. That's it. The only question then is that somebody goes before him and takes his spot. And that's the only big confusion I have. But as far as I can tell, it's okay. Al, let's see. I might be getting this wrong. I know the answer, but like I said, I didn't actually figure out the pattern. I just did process of elimination. So Bernie would work from midnight to 6 a.m. Then Iggy completes roughly 7 hours from, or works from, no, sorry, from 6, he would work to, let's say, midday. So he worked to 12. Then 8 hours to we can go follow Bernie. Bernie would do 8 hours. He makes it to 8, and then you've got 3 hours short. So no, the more likely scenario is Al works up to 6. Iggy follows and does, for whatever reason, he does 7 hours instead of 8 or 6. He does 7. He gets from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then, at 1 p.m., he gets replaced by Bernie. Bernie does 8 hours of work, which means he'll be done at 9. Now, for whatever reason, at 8, the explosion happens. He makes a point of that 1 hour before, but then he stops. Process, keeps doing his shift, gets to 9, is replaced by Pop, who for whatever reason gets, just for the sake of the puzzle, Pop only does like 3 hours of guard duty. So he'd be there he'll get there until midnight. He's the last 3 hours, he'll get there until midnight. Like I said, I did figure part of this out, but I didn't have it all really settled in my head. I just basically used the hints that the game tells you to follow, and I basically just did reverse. I went backwards. But like, that's the only part that still baffles me, is how am I supposed to know the amount of time that Iggy and Al would have done? Because the only thing that I can base it on is that they don't do 8 hours, which is apparently their full time, even though Pop doesn't follow the pattern. And the second part, the reverse, that they can't possibly do less than 3 hours, or even 3, because then Pop wouldn't stand out. Pop couldn't say he has the shortest if other people had more or less time than he did. That's it. So you've got everything from 4 to 7 hours, and I guess what you're supposed to do is just, right, you're meant to eliminate the hours based on that. So 24 minus 8 is 16. 16 minus 3 is 13. So then you basically have to do some type of, again, to me it just seems like you're guessing what time, how do you split 13 between these two, Al and Iggy, because it's not even. Sorry for the ramble, but obviously, like, the simple fact that I couldn't figure this out. Also, I suppose I want to show my process so that if any of you actually know the solution, and if you don't, you're not too bothered by it, if you want to put it down in the comment sections, I would actually appreciate that. I don't need you to, ultra math it the whole thing. I know that might be tedious, but yeah, I'm just curious whether someone else if somebody watches this, if anybody else knows, it's like, oh no, yeah, this puzzle's just nonsense, or now you're being dumb, dude. Like, puzzle's really obvious
if there was an explosion at that time, wouldn't the icicles on the building have been knocked off?
Good point. Maybe they grew back.
I mean, that does depend on the size of the explosion.
Well, I don't seem to be getting a lot of answers.
Listen, why don't you meet me down at the Moose Ear Diner later? I have some files related to the case that you may be able to help me with.
Oh, okay, but I really think...
Agent Tethers, it's a pleasure working with you. You're doing a great job. I'll meet you at the Moose Ear in a bit.
Like I said, still don't know if that was the sheriff's being straightforward and blunt, or if he's being obtuse and, trying to misdirect the agent. So, I'd hope to get into the factory to see what the heck's going on with the main mystery, but clearly where there's going to be another step. So, no real sense of prologue in it, but the simple fact that I got from one area of the map to another and set up the first step to the mystery, setting up the first few clues of what might be, I assume, the mystery of the game. I felt like a decent enough place to stop. Again, unless the game has an actual obvious chapter 1 or prologue. This is all fairly arbitrary, I know. If you enjoyed this, as other videos, hopefully I'll have it in the description. If you like this game or want to see me do more of it, please let me know. Post it down. If you just want to say something regarding the game, I personally would appreciate that. I would really love to get some feedback as to how these videos are coming across. Hope it doesn't come off too forward, but that really is, if I got beaten, I just want to get that out there. And just, I guess, first impressions, if nothing else. First impression, puzzles are clearly not my thing. That's not the game's situation, it's mine. Whether the puzzles are actually challenging in an unfair or fair way, I'd say fair for the most part. Like, the only one I draw the line on was, like I said, this last one. And again, that might just be me. Because there are definitely ways of figuring it out. It's just, I don't know if there's a way to definitively figure out the path beyond guessing the numbers. But, again, I'll leave it be, for God's sakes. And definitely everything else is something I really enjoy. Like the presentation, the humor, it has a nice artistic style for me, and the banter, nothing too mean or obtuse, and just fun watching the character interact in a sort of absurdist kind of way, but in a way that matches the tone. And thank you for anybody who watches, and hope to see you in future videos. Take care, everyone.